Welcome to the Karma Verdict. Let us get started with today's story. My girlfriend said, "I am not cutting off my ex. You need to accept that." I nodded. "All right." She smiled, relieved. "See, I knew you would be mature," I added. "I will just remove myself from this situation." She frowned. "Remove yourself how?" I replied. "You will understand soon. I am 35 and I have been in my fair share of relationships, enough to know what is normal and what is a red flag dressed up as friendship." We had been dating for about 14 months when this conversation happened. Things had been good, or so I thought. We had our own places but spent most nights together. The kind of relationship where you start talking about future plans without it feeling forced. Her ex was always there though, in the background. Little comments here and there. He texted me something funny today. He is going through a rough time, so I am just being supportive. I tried to be understanding at first. I am not the jealous type. I believe exes can be friends under the right circumstances. But the circumstances were not right. It started bothering me about 3 months ago. The frequency of their contact increased. Late-night texts that she would laugh at while we were watching television. Lunch meetups that she would mention casually like they were no big deal. Phone calls that she would take in another room because he needs advice about something personal. I noticed she would check her phone constantly when we were together. At dinner, during movies, even during conversations. Her attention was always divided. I would be telling her about my day, and she would glance at her phone mid-sentence. When I would pause, she would look up and say, "Sorry, what?" with this distracted smile. Last Tuesday, I finally brought it up. We were having dinner at her place. She had made this pasta dish she knows I love, and her phone kept buzzing. Every time she would glance at it and smile. "Is that him?" I asked, trying to keep my tone neutral. "Yeah, he is telling me about this thing that happened at his work. It is actually hilarious. You talk to him a lot." She put her fork down. "Is this going to be a thing?" "I am just noticing a pattern. We are friends. I have told you this. Friends do not text each other at 11 o'clock at night multiple times a week. He is going through stuff. I am being supportive." "What kind of stuff?" "Personal stuff. He is struggling with some things, and he cannot talk to anyone else about it." She crossed her arms. "Why are you being like this?" "Like what? Concerned that my girlfriend is more emotionally available to her ex than to me? That is not fair. I am plenty emotionally available to you." "Are you?" "Because lately it feels like I am competing for your attention." She sighed, one of those long, dramatic sighs that is meant to communicate how unreasonable I am being. "I am not cutting him off. He is important to me. You need to accept that." I sat there for a moment, looking at her, really looking at her, and I realized something. She had already made her choice. She was just waiting for me to fall in line. "All right," I said quietly. She seemed surprised by my calm response. "Really? Just like that?" "Yeah, I accept it." She smiled, visibly relaxed. "See? I knew you would be mature about this. This is why I love you. You are so understanding. I will just remove myself from this situation." Her smile faded. "Remove yourself how?" "You will understand soon." Update 1. The conversation ended awkwardly after that. She kept pressing me on what I meant, but I just said I was tired and needed to go home. She seemed confused and maybe a little worried, but she let me leave. I drove home in silence, my mind clearer than it had been in weeks. I was not angry. I was just done. There is a difference between jealousy and recognizing when you are not a priority. I had been trying to convince myself that her relationship with her ex was innocent, that I was being insecure. But I was not insecure. I was being disrespected. When I got home, I sat in my car for 10 minutes just processing everything. The apartment building was quiet, lights flickering in various windows. Other people living their lives, dealing with their own problems. I wondered how many of them were in relationships where they felt secondary, optional, like a convenience rather than a choice. I went inside and made a decision. I was not going to fight for her attention. I was not going to compete with her ex. I was just going to quietly extract myself from the situation and let her figure out what she had lost when it was too late. Wednesday morning, she texted me. "Are you mad?" I replied, "No." "Then what did you mean last night?" "Exactly what I said." That is not an answer. I did not respond. She called me during my lunch break. I let it go to voicemail. She called again an hour later. Voicemail again. Then came a string of texts. "Can we please talk? You are freaking me out. Did I do something wrong? Why are you being like this?" I went about my day as normal, worked, ran errands, grabbed groceries. Every mundane task felt lighter somehow, like I was shedding weight I had not realized I was carrying. That evening, I went to the gym instead of going to her place like I usually did on Wednesdays. Worked out for 2 hours, came home, made dinner, watched a movie. Alone. It felt good. Peaceful. No phone buzzing constantly. No divided attention. Just me and my own thoughts. She texted at 9 o'clock post-meridium. Are you coming over? Me. No, not tonight. Her. Why not? Me. I have some things to take care of. Her. What things? Me. Just stuff. Her. This is because of last night, is it not? I did not respond. Update 2. Thursday was more of the same. Minimal responses to her texts, did not answer her calls. I was not being deliberately cruel. I was just creating distance. The same distance she had been creating between us for months. Except I was doing it intentionally. I met up with an old friend for drinks Thursday evening. We had not hung out in months. I had been so wrapped up in the relationship that I had neglected my friendships. We talked about work, about life, about nothing in particular. It reminded me what it felt like to have someone's full attention in a conversation. No phone checking, no distracted glances, just two people actually present with each other. You seem different, my friend said halfway through the night. More relaxed. Yeah, I said. I think I am finally making some decisions I should have made months ago. Friday evening, she showed up at my apartment unannounced. I had just gotten home from work, still in my work clothes, when I heard the knock. We need to talk, she said when I opened the door. Okay, can I come in? I stepped aside. She walked in, and I could see she had been crying. Her makeup was smudged, eyes red and puffy. Part of me felt bad. The other part remembered all the times I had felt dismissed or secondary to her ex. What is going on? She asked, sitting on my couch. Why are you shutting me out? I am not shutting you out. I am removing myself from the situation like I said I would. What does that even mean? It means I am not going to be in a relationship where I am constantly competing for my girlfriend's attention with her ex. You are not competing. I am, though. Every time we are together, he is texting you. Every time we make plans, you mention something he said or something you did with him. You take his calls in the other room because what he is going through is personal, but you will not even consider how that makes me feel. I did not realize it bothered you that much. I told you on Tuesday. You told me to accept it. I did not mean I thought you were okay with it. You said, all right. I said, all right to accepting that you will not cut him off. And I am accepting it. I am just also accepting that this relationship is not what I want. Her face went pale. You are breaking up with me? I am choosing myself. You have been choosing him for months. I am just finally making the same choice, putting myself first. That is not fair. I have not been choosing him. He is just a friend who needs support right now. And I am the boyfriend who has been patient and understanding while you prioritize that friendship over our relationship. But I am done being patient. She started crying harder. Please do not do this. I love you. I will talk to him less, if that is what you want. That is not what I want. I want a partner who does not need to be asked to prioritize our relationship. I want someone who naturally understands that some boundaries are important, even with friends. I can do that. I will do that. You had months to do that. You did not. And when I finally brought it up, you told me to accept it or basically implied I was being controlling. I did not say that. You did not have to. Your response made it clear that maintaining your relationship with him was more important than addressing my concerns. She sat there crying for a few minutes. I did not comfort her. I just waited. The silence stretched between us, filled only by her sniffling and the hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. So, that is it? She finally asked. 14 months and you are just done? I am done being second place. If that means I am done with this relationship, then yes. She left shortly after. I closed the door behind her and felt this wave of relief wash over me, like I had been holding my breath for months and could finally exhale. Update 3. The weekend was quiet. She texted sporadically, messages that swung between apologetic and accusatory. I am sorry I made you feel that way. Followed hours later by, you are being unreasonable. I am allowed to have friends. I kept my responses brief and neutral when I responded at all. Saturday, I deep cleaned my apartment. Found little reminders of her everywhere. A hair tie on the bathroom counter, her favorite mug in my cabinet, a book she had been reading that she left on my nightstand. I boxed it all up methodically, without emotion, just clearing space. Sunday, I went hiking alone. something I used to do regularly before the relationship consumed all my free time. The trail was challenging, the air cold and crisp. At the summit, I sat on a rock and looked out at the view, and I felt genuinely content for the first time in months. Monday morning, one of her friends called me. I did not answer, but she left a voicemail. "Hey," I heard what happened. "Look, I get it, but you should know she is really torn up about this. She genuinely did not realize how much the situation with her ex was bothering you. Maybe give her another chance." I listened to the voicemail twice, then deleted it. I did not call back. Tuesday, I got a long text from her. The gist was, she had told her ex they needed to take a break from communicating so much. She was doing it for me to prove she could prioritize our relationship. Would I please reconsider? I replied, "I appreciate that, but it does not change anything. You should not have to be told to set those boundaries. They should have been there naturally." Her, "People make mistakes. I am trying to fix mine." Me, "I understand, but I have made my decision." Her, "Because of him? Because I was friends with my ex?" Me, "Because when I expressed discomfort with the situation, you dismissed my feelings and told me to accept it instead of actually listening to me. That is not about him. That is about you and how you treated my concerns." She did not respond after that. Wednesday evening, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered cautiously. "Hey, this is her ex's name. We need to talk." I almost laughed. The audacity. "No, we do not. Look, man, I did not know you two were having problems because of me. If I had known, you knew she had a boyfriend. That should have been enough for you to maintain appropriate boundaries. We are just friends. Friends do not text at 11 o'clock at night multiple times a week. Friends do not require phone calls in other rooms because the conversation is too personal for their partner to hear. I was going through some stuff, and that is not my problem or my responsibility. You are her ex. You should have enough respect for her current relationship to keep your distance. She is the one who wanted to stay friends. And you could have said no, but you did not, because it benefited you to have her emotional support without any of the commitment of actually being in a relationship with her. Silence on the other end. "Stay away from me," I continued. "I do not want to hear from you. I do not want to talk about this. And honestly, I do not care what happens between you two anymore. That is no longer my concern." I hung up before he could respond. Blocked the number immediately. Update 4. A week went by. Then 2. She stopped texting as frequently. When she did, it was usually late at night. "I miss you. I messed up. Can we please talk?" I did not respond to any of them. I focused on myself. Hit the gym regularly. Reconnected with friends I had neglected. Started reading again. Something I had always loved but somehow stopped doing during the relationship. Every night before bed, I would read for an hour, and it felt like reclaiming a part of myself I had forgotten existed. 3 weeks after our breakup, a mutual friend reached out. We grabbed coffee on a Saturday morning, at this place we used to frequent before I got too wrapped up in my relationship. "So," she said, stirring her latte, "I heard about you two." "Yeah? Want to talk about it?" "Not really, but I am guessing you have something to tell me." She gave me a knowing look. She is spending a lot of time with him. Her ex? Makes sense. You are not bothered? Why would I be? I removed myself from the situation. What she does now is not my concern. I just thought you should know. In case you were thinking about getting back together, I am not. She seems to think there is still a chance. Then she is not paying attention. My friend sighed, taking a long sip of her coffee. For what it is worth, I think you made the right call. She has been different since he came back into her life. Not in a good way. How so? Just unavailable. Always on her phone, ditching plans if he needs something. It is like she cannot see how much she is prioritizing him over everyone else. That was my experience, yeah. I tried talking to her about it once. She got defensive, said everyone was being judgmental and did not understand their friendship. Classic, a few of us have noticed. Her whole friend group has been talking about it. She is canceling plans last minute, showing up late when she does come, spending half the time on her phone. It is affecting all her relationships, not just yours. That detail stuck with me. It was not just about me. She was doing this to everyone in her life, prioritizing this one person over all her other relationships. We finished our coffee and caught up on other things. It was nice to talk about something other than my failed relationship. She told me about her new job, about a trip she was planning, about normal life things that felt refreshing after weeks of emotional heaviness. Update 5. A month after the breakup, she called me. It was a Tuesday evening, around 8 o'clock. I was cooking dinner, actually enjoying the process of trying a new recipe without interruptions. When my phone rang, I saw her name and hesitated, then answered, mostly out of curiosity. "Hey," she said softly. "How are you?" "I am good." "You?" "I have been better." Long pause. I did not fill the silence. I wanted to tell you something. "Okay. You were right. About him. About everything." "What happened?" We tried dating again. After you and I broke up, it lasted about 2 weeks before I realized why we broke up in the first place. He is selfish. Everything is always about him and his problems and his needs. I was so focused on being there for him that I did not see how one-sided it was. I am sorry you went through that. Are you, though? Honestly, I thought about that. Yeah, I am. I do not wish bad things for you. I just could not be in a relationship where I was not a priority. I understand that now. I was taking you for granted. I thought you would always be there, so I did not have to work as hard to maintain our relationship. That is usually how it goes. The moment we started dating, he was different. All that vulnerability, all those late-night conversations about his problems, they stopped. Suddenly, he did not need my support anymore. He had what he wanted, and I realized that is all it was for him. He wanted the validation of me choosing him. I am sure that was hard to realize. It was. And then I thought about you, about how you were always there, always supportive, never needing constant validation or reassurance. You were just solid, reliable, and I mistook that for boring. Is there any chance? No, I said firmly, but not unkindly. There is not. Because of what I did? Because of who you showed me you are. When I expressed my concerns, you dismissed them. You chose your ex over me repeatedly, and the only reason you are calling now is because things did not work out with him. I am not a backup plan. That is not. I genuinely realized I made a mistake. You made several mistakes, but the biggest one was not respecting my feelings when I tried to communicate them. That is not something I can overlook. She was quiet for a moment. I really did love you. Maybe. But you did not respect me. And without respect, love is not enough. Can we at least be friends? No. I do not think that would be healthy for either of us. I understand. Another long pause. I hope you find someone who appreciates you. I appreciate myself now. That is enough for the moment. We said our goodbyes, and I hung up feeling oddly peaceful. Like that was the closure neither of us knew we needed. I went back to cooking, finished my dinner, and ate it while watching a documentary I had been meaning to see. Simple, uncomplicated. Mine. Final update. It has been 3 months since the breakup. I am doing well. Better than well, actually. I have been going out more, reconnecting with friends I had neglected during the relationship. I started a new hobby, got into rock climbing, which is both physically challenging and mentally therapeutic. There is something about the focus required, the problem-solving aspect of finding the right route, that clears my mind completely. I joined a climbing gym and go 3 times a week. Made some friends there. One of them invited me to a group trip next month to an outdoor climbing spot. I said yes without hesitation. Old me would have checked with my girlfriend first, made sure it did not conflict with her plans, considered whether she would be upset about me going away for a weekend. New me just said yes because I wanted to go. I heard through the grapevine that she and her ex are not together. Apparently, they tried dating twice after we broke up, and it fell apart both times for the same reasons it did not work before. Some people never learn. According to mutual friends, she has been struggling with the aftermath, realizing that she burned multiple bridges, not just ours, for someone who was never really that invested in her. I have been on a few dates. Nothing serious yet, but I am not rushing into anything. I am being more intentional about what I want and what I will not tolerate. Boundaries are non-negotiable now. If someone cannot respect them, I am out. No discussion, no second chances for fundamental issues. Met someone recently who seems promising. She is a graphic designer, funny, smart, has her own life and interests. We have been on 3 dates so far. What I appreciate most is how present she is. When we are together, her phone stays in her purse. She asks questions and actually listens to the answers. She talks about her ex occasionally. They dated years ago and had an amicable split, but it is always in past tense, with clear boundaries. That is what healthy looks like. A friend asked me recently if I regretted how I handled things. We were at a barbecue, a few beers in, and he just came out with it. Do you think you should have tried harder? Given her more chances? I thought about it. No. I communicated my concerns clearly. She made her choice, and I made mine. I removed myself from a situation that was not serving me. There is no regret in choosing yourself. That is pretty mature of you. It was not maturity. It was self-preservation. I just got tired of being an option instead of a priority. Last week, I ran into her at a mutual friend's party. It was brief. A polite hello, a quick catch-up, nothing substantial. She seemed okay. I was okay. We were both okay, just separately. And that is probably how it should have been all along. She looked different. Tired, maybe, or just older. She asked how I had been, and I gave her the abbreviated version. Work is good, picked up rock climbing, keeping busy. She told me she had been doing some soul-searching, going to therapy, trying to work on herself. I told her that was good, that I was glad she was taking care of herself. And I meant it. The thing about removing yourself from a toxic situation is that people do not realize how serious you are until you are already gone. She thought I was bluffing, thought I would fight for her, chase her, beg her to choose me over her ex. But I did not. I just quietly stepped back and let her figure out what she really wanted. By the time she realized what she had lost, I had already moved on. And that is not revenge or spite. That is just the natural consequence of taking someone for granted. Life goes on. I am building something better now, something that is just mine. And when I do eventually let someone in again, they will understand from day one that I am not the type to compete for attention or settle for being second place. I am too old for that. I have learned my worth, and I am not negotiating on it anymore. That conversation in her apartment, when she told me to accept her relationship with her ex, was the best thing that could have happened. It showed me exactly who she was and what she prioritized, and it gave me the clarity to walk away with my head held high. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is just remove yourself from the equation. No drama, no big confrontation, no trying to change someone's mind. Just a quiet exit and the refusal to be treated as less than you deserve. She understands now what I meant when I said I would remove myself. And honestly, I hope she takes that lesson into her next relationship. I hope she learns to appreciate people while she has them. I hope she sets better boundaries with exes and understands that some friendships are not worth maintaining if they cost you better relationships. But that is not my concern anymore. I removed myself and I am better for it. I wake up every morning without that knot in my stomach. I go through my day without checking my phone anxiously. I make plans without wondering if she will cancel because he needs something. I am just free. And that feeling is worth more than any relationship that makes you question your worth. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with our upcoming stories. Your support means the world to us.